Sup guys? So, I planned out to make a different video today, but I think this needs being said more. Crufts was yesterday, and obviously I am very happy to say that T's the Whippet won. So I have a Whippet, and she is the most gorgeous, fucking funny little dog you'll ever come across. Should we go find my Whippet? We should go find my Whippet. Right, so is she? No, but she has been. That little indent there, that's where she goes. That's where Dobby the little crested sleeps. That's Mum's room. She'll be downstairs then. There is Daisy, my Whippet. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face. Also, this is one of the main things I want to talk about with Whippets. You see the absolute carnage that's everywhere? Yeah, that's all her fault. She might look all cute and innocent, but this is all she does. So guys, so I have tried to film this video a few times now, and now my mum started hoovering, so it's going really well. But we have a Whippet, and I wanted to talk to you today about what Whippets are really like, because oh boy, a Whippet is basically like a toddler, and most people know how hard work toddlers are. Whippets are hard work too. So we've had greyhounds since I was 5 or 6, can't remember when. We got our first greyhound. She was called Cleo. She was adorable. I loved her so much. We got her because I had a fear of dogs, because I got bitten by a dog as a kid. That's a long story. I've never actually spoken about that. I should probably talk about that because it's an interesting story. But we got a dog to help me get over my fear of dogs. You know, just as you do, classic British parenting. And as I said, 13, 14 years later, we're still rescuing dogs. We've had, over the time we've rescued dogs, we've had 6 greyhounds, a Whippet, and 2 Chinese cresteds, 2 little hairless Chinese cresteds. And currently we have 2 greyhounds, a Whippet, and 2 Chinese cresteds. So we've got 5 dogs. Big pack. I can tell you, out of that pack, the Whippet is the most hard work, and the 2 Chinese cresteds that we have are fosters and have separation anxiety, dominance issues, all that kind of stuff. And she's still, Daisy, our little Whippet, she is still harder work than those who we are having to train and rehabilitate. Daisy is slightly different to most Whippets because she was a rescue. Her backstory, as far as we know, is she was owned by travellers in Ireland who abused her. She then got surrendered to a rescue. I think she got rehomed or was being fostered by someone. She then escaped the home, was feral for 3 months. They found her and then they shipped her over to England, because we use a rescue that they work, I think the rescue in Ireland's called Paws, and Norfolk Greyhound Rescue work with Paws. So that's her background. So she has got a lot more problems than, and isn't quite like, if you ever Google like Whippet photos, chances are you'll have a Whippet sat here, like in your face. Daisy doesn't do that, but she still has the energy of a Whippet. She is only just turned 2, so she is technically still a puppy. Kind of, she's fully grown, but she's still got all her puppy mannerisms, which is fun. And a lot of Whippets don't grow out of the puppy mannerisms, so they chew a lot. They are such high energy dogs as well. So she could quite happily walk for hours. And I think I have some video clips actually of when we took them all to a paddock a couple of months ago, and it was the first time that she'd been off the lead. Because they're all sight hounds, we don't let them off the lead because they do end up disappearing. It's happened before. So I'll put the videos in now. And yeah, that was after we'd been there for sort of an hour and she was still fucking full of energy, as she always is. So that's one thing you do have to watch out with whippets, is you have to be able to keep up an exercise regime that will keep them happy, because if not they will destroy your house, destroy it and be destructive and just run riot basically. Now don't get me wrong, Whippets, she is, a lot of people say you've never really experienced life until you've seen it through a whippet, and oh my god is that true, because as much as the greyhounds, I absolutely love them, they're all absolutely perfect in their own way, she is different. The energy and the joy that they have for life is just, it's so adorable. And we have, because we've worked with her as well, and we've had to help rehabilitate her, it's even more rewarding when she kind of cuddles into you on the sofa. Like, she didn't do that. We've only had her for 6 months and she is a totally different dog to when we first got her. I don't know if I don't think I will have, but any video of when she first arrived, because she was so scared, she sat in the corner and didn't sleep for 2 days because she was too scared to sleep. It was a big thing for her. But now you wouldn't know about her past. Like, she still has some insecurities, like you can't pick her up, you can't cuddle her, like trap her. If you want to cuddle her, it has to be on her terms. She has to be the one that comes over to you, cuddles into you on the sofa. You can't say like, come here now Daisy, it's cuddle time. That will put her off and she won't. It has to be on her terms. But it makes it more like worth it when she does end up cuddling you. So yeah. Whippets are amazing. I don't want to put anyone off getting whippets because I love her so much. But I just want to prepare people, because this always happens with crufts, is the dog that wins ends up getting more popular, which means more breeders happen and all of that fun stuff. Which is where my next topic comes in, which I have taken some notes because basically I've tried to film this video a few times. I didn't really say what I wanted to say. So, as I've said, all of our dogs are rescues, and I encourage rescuing animals. I think it's the best way forwards, but there are still reasons for some people to want puppies that are perfectly valid. So, when you rescue a dog, you are in fact saving 2 lives. If you go to a kennel and take a dog from the kennel, you have saved the life of that dog, so you get to have the joys of this wonderful dog for the rest of its life, which, depending on the age, could be 6 months, could be 14 years. And then you've also freed up a space for another dog to be able to be saved. So you do end up saving 2 dogs with one purchase, rescue. A lot of the dogs that come through kennels, the ones that we've dealt with especially, have already had a lot of vet work done for them, so they will already be microchipped, they will already be neutered or spayed, they'll already have like a health background, so you don't have to A, decide, or B, pay for neutering, spaying, because that's expensive, and microchipping is expensive. And I think technically in the UK it is now illegal to have a dog that isn't microchipped or something like that. Not entirely sure, but you then don't have to pay for that yourself. Most adult dogs, a fair few adult dogs, when they come through rescues, are already potty trained. They've already got a basic level of vocabulary, so they might understand sit, stay, lay down, go to bed, that kind of stuff. So you don't then have to, obviously you have to put the work in because it might not be there, but you don't have to put the work in from scratch. So it's kind of a lot easier to just tweak rather than teach from scratch. As private rescues, shelters, sometimes will take back dogs if they really aren't working out. So with working with a rescue dog, the absolute pride that you get when they're like nervous, for instance, a lot of them are nervous. So when they are nervous and you manage to work with them and get them to a state where they're quite happy to sit on the sofa next to you with their legs in the air, just playing and cuddling, it's so nice, it's so rewarding. And the cost of adopting a dog is often a lot cheaper than buying one. So most of the rescues that we've gone from to get a dog, it's between 100 and 150, I believe. Whereas if you were to buy a Whippet puppy, could be sort of £600. So adopting's a lot cheaper. But there are challenges with adopted dogs. So when we adopt the dogs, a lot of the time we don't know about their background. So the greyhounds, you basically just know that they're X races and that's about it. If they're pedigree, you can go onto the pedigree website and look through sort of the races they've done, you can see their family. But we have one that isn't registered as a pedigree and has never raced apparently, so we have no idea about his heritage. So that's one thing that happens. And a lot of the times if you go to somewhere like the Dogs Trust, which I recommend, they're lovely people, a lot of them, and they really do like to help dogs, you're going to get a dog, but you're not going to know if it's mixed with something else, which most of the time doesn't matter. But if it's mixed with something that has sort of aggressive undertones, and you get sort of like, I'm trying to think what, but yeah, you don't know. We're pretty sure that the dog I was talking about with the gin, who isn't actually a pedigree, we're pretty sure he's mixed with something else, because he doesn't look like a normal greyhound and he's massive. Like most greyhounds are sort of 26 inches tall, so to the shoulder, so you measure to their shoulder. He's about 32 inches to the shoulder, like he comes up to my hip, which is quite big for a greyhound. I'm pretty tall as well. So yeah, you never know really how pure a dog is. Most of the time with the greyhounds, they are pure because yeah, they have to be pure to race, I believe. Not really too sure. But there is another side to this. There is always the poppy side, which generally for people that just want to own a dog, I discourage. Go to a rescue, all that stuff. But there are benefits for certain people for buying. A lot of the time if you go to a good breeder, do your research on breeders. If you go to a good breeder, you'll be able to see the parents, you'll be able to see the environment that they lived in, you'll be able to talk to the breeder, ask questions. A lot of the time the breeders will ask so many questions, good breeders will ask so many questions of people that are looking at buying a dog, because they want to make sure that the dog is going to the right sort of home. And a lot of good breeders they want what's best for the animals, so they are going to ask questions, they're going to want you to be asking them questions to make sure that you're going to be able to look after this dog. And that's a good thing. You know the heritage of the dog then. some of them provide like genetic testing and stuff, and they will check for inherited conditions. Dogs like German Shepherds, I believe it is, that have their back slopes a lot. Good breeders are trying to breed that out because it's detrimental to the breed, because it causes like hip dysplasia and stuff, and that's something that's happened with the breed for a long time. So they're trying to work out and get that out of the breed. So the genetic testing helps there. You'll have the opportunity to turn your puppy into exactly what you want it for. So German Shepherds are a really good example. If you want them to be sofa dogs, laying around all day, cuddling you, all that kind of stuff, you can train them to do that. Whereas if you wanted them to potentially be guard dogs, all that kind of stuff, you can then train them to be guard dogs. So getting from puppies is a good thing. And also, if you get a dog from a puppy, you can quite often train it to live with cats, rabbits, birds, all kinds of other stuff. I saw a photo the other night of a whippet and a rat cuddling, and it was really cute. You can train them to be a lot more tolerant of other animals, whereas if you get from a rescue, most of them aren't cat friendly. Most of them, well, a lot of the time with greyhounds as well, is they don't really get on with other breeds of dogs, let alone other animals. We had one that if a dog had fluffy ears, she would nip at its ears and stuff, so we had to be quite careful with her. And you know exactly what you're getting with the breed. So because it's purebred, because it's all of that stuff, as long as you get a purebred, you know exactly what the breed's temperament is. As an overview, there are exceptions to every single rule. And you can do a lot of research into making sure that dog is the right for your family, right for your situation. If you're not in that much, you can get a dog that, like a greyhound, will just sleep all day, because that's all they do. But the challenges of buying a puppy. There are thousands and thousands of dogs dying in shelters. To get that one out of the way first. Reason number 2, puppies are a lot of work. You've basically got a newborn baby. Really. You'll have to clean up pee and poo incidences. A lot of the time they vomit places. They bite things, they chew things. Don't leave wires around, because it will get eaten. So you've got to put up with that kind of stuff, which for a lot of people that's great. If you've got the time and the energy to put into it, it's great. Which goes on to my next thing of training. You have to train puppies. There is no getting away with not training a puppy. If you don't train your puppy, it will turn into a horrible adult dog that will end up in a rescue, and someone like me will be left training it when it's an adult, which you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's a lot harder. If you just do it as a puppy, teach it to pee outside, pee in a litter box, whatever you want to do. Teach it not to bite you, teach it not to bark if you don't want it to bark, and all that kind of stuff. As a puppy, it's so much easier, because you don't end up with that. So you need to be able to be there and put the effort into training that dog. Purebred dogs quite often have a lot more health problems. So pugs, for example, purebred pugs can't breathe properly. As much as you get the purebred and you kind of understand the breed more, you get the short end of the straw because they're a purebred, which, depending on dogs, like greyhounds are pretty healthy purebreeds, some others aren't. It's the luck of the draw. And lastly, buying a puppy is fucking expensive. I've seen puppies, like, we were looking at Italian greyhounds for a while, and this is the only time we've ever looked at buying a dog, and they're sort of like, locally, because there just aren't around here, they're sort of like £2,000 for an Italian greyhound puppy, which is a bit more than the £150 we're used to spending on a dog, that then goes to a rescue and goes to helping other dogs and keeping other dogs in homes. So there's that is a thing. As I say, I encourage adoption to no end. Adopt a dog, because the rewards are so much greater. But there are situations where buying a puppy is better for a family, better for your situation, better for whatever you want to bring the dog into. But do your research. Go to a reputable breeder. Don't buy a dog that you can't meet both of the parents, you can't see its living situation. Do not do it. Walk away. If a breeder doesn't ask you loads and loads of questions, walk away. You want someone that wants the best for the dogs, because then you're going to get the best quality dogs, which you're not necessarily going to get from a puppy mill. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the situation. I'm going to go now because I've been talking for about an hour and my voice hurts. My voice hurts and I'm going to go. So thank you very much for watching and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Oh, sorry. But you have to actually like keep stroking him, otherwise he'll just... High five. Come on. Don't play up to the camera. High five. Good boy. I'm stroking you. What more do you want? That's what they're like with kids. And rescues. You good boy. He likes to cuddle. Don't you? Love a cuddle. Yeah.